after 2 rounds of the championship. Mattila and Ragazzi in the lead with 36 points, just 6 points ahead of Rainbow Bears, run by Steve Curtis and his new teammate in 1992, Leonardo Poli, replacing Vincenzo from last season, who's running with his uncle Eduardo in SDA. Despite a disappointing second half of the season last year, Damiano Spelter is joint third in the championship, showing that his Sotter power cannot be discounted in 1992. SDA has 4 Motori Modoni Aloni engines inside the hull. But the man with the smile on his face this weekend is Carrein in Della Carbonara. This high-tech boat has taken pole position. Mattila and Ragazzi must now be regarded as serious contenders in the championship, and that is the 3rd sponson, which contains the 3rd C-Tech diesel engine inside Giuffredi's trimaran, Paul Picot. There are 28 boats entered here. Just under half the fleet is petrol-powered, from a mixture of manufacturers, but principally dominated by Lamborghini. In the diesel camp, Isotta Frascini rule the day. But there are 3 C-Tech powered boats and 1 French Baudouin. Last year's European and world champion, Angelo Spelter, in Fresh and Clean, has remained loyal to the Italian diesel manufacturer. Carr is a rival to Curtis, and both of them have had drive problems this season.
Well, basically, we sort of went out into the lead, and Freddie had a little accident, so we sat back and we led for 3 or 4 laps. Then I decided to back off, with Leonardo, follow fins to him, make a run at the end, try and overtake him at the end to get the win, or a second would have been great at that point. And we broke a chain, an Arneson chain, which was very unfortunate. We had 2 laps more to go, and it would have put us, well in the points. So.
2 years ago, Enrico Di Marco was driving the highly competitive Jack Daniels. This year, he's in Cardinal with Aluigi. The course would be run over 136 nautical miles, each lap 34 nautical miles, essentially a wide-based triangle, with the teams leaving from Pescara, heading south to Ortona, and then north, paralleling the coast to Fratello Est, before returning to Pescara itself. The weather for practice day was fine and the seas calm. But advanced reports suggested that race day was going to be a very different business indeed. Down in the pits, the boats were preparing to go out and qualify, including Bindi Fantasia, driven by Rugali and Guaracino. Eduardo Poli has one of the most expensive, highly developed boats on the course. So far with a lack of success. Why?
Well, the answer is we had some stupid failures this year, contrary to last year, which was we had problems with the drives, and the year before the gearboxes. This year we had really stupid failures, a water intake once, a bolt of an Arneson the second time. So I think that mechanically we are basically sound now. We just, these are, inconveniences that can happen to anybody.
So will Pescara provide the opportunity for a win for Eduardo Poli? Bruno Palchetti out for qualifying in Ferrari shipyards. A very different boat to that of the championship leaders JP Mattila and Walter Ragazzi in their American-built skater hull with twin Lightning engines. Finn Mattila was extremely happy to be leading the championship.
Well, you can imagine, after waiting 3 years for something like that, we already, thought that it might take another year or 2 before we get everything together. But, having won the already in the second race of the World Championship this season, of course, it was, sensational feeling. And, of course, it lifts up the spirits of the whole team. And we really look forward for the continuing of the season.
The twin-capsuled catamaran number 75, Johnny Lambs, carries the only lady competitor in the championship, Monica Rampazzotti. Koji Mi is driven by Panzini, another diesel-powered boat, waiting to go out and qualify, while Angelo Spelter's crew prepare for him to go out and join the rest of the fleet. Marco Capoferri has yet to find racing and competitive form in 1992 in his Mercruiser-powered skater hull. Very different from Domenico Achilli in the Stain hull, and question marks must now hang over this boat, Della Carbonara, after its sister boat was destroyed in the previous round in Marbella. For some, it was time to lie back and watch. For Steve Curtis, it was time to perform. For now came pole position and qualifying. Koji Mi would come in 8th place with an average speed of 81.86 miles per hour. Just ahead of them, in 7th place, was Giulio Boffi in Fratelli Rossetti. This boat managed an average speed of 82.034 miles per hour. All boats running over a standing 1 kilometre length. In 6th place was Ove Ugland from Norway in Fiat Uno, 84.36 miles per hour, the fastest that the monohull could manage in relatively calm seas. Almost 7 miles an hour faster was Eduardo Poli in SDA, but even this increase in speed would only bring him up to 5th place in the speed trials. The concept of 4 engines driving through 4 separate gearboxes into 2 drives and down onto the propellers still does not seem to have proved this boat as competitive as its owners would like. But the Cougar hull was perfectly suited to these conditions, and Steve Curtis managed a speed of 91.185 miles per hour, outpaced by his rival, number 69, Richard Carr in Techni Lamborghini. Carr's average speed was 91.214 miles per hour, but ahead of him in 2nd place, Ragazzi and Mattila in the spectacular skater hull fin screw, 91.514 miles per hour. The pole position place had fallen to an Italian, Gruppo della Carbonara, Carrane and Patignani, with 2.2 miles per hour average speed over the 2nd place boat of Mattila and Ragazzi. It was an excellent performance for the carbon fibre boat, especially considering GS had virtually destroyed itself, the sister boat, in the previous race. For the organisers, everything had gone according to plan, until it came to race day. An unusual and miserable sight in the pits, with all the boats covered prior to the start of the race itself. The atmosphere in the championship was now one of great seriousness as we approached the 3rd round.